Thank you. Hello and welcome to the Town of Litchfield Recreation Commission meeting. Tonight is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. We're meeting at the Town Hall Conference Room and the time now is 7 p.m. We'll start off with the roll call of members. My name is Steve Gannon. I am the chair. Andy Ruggles, vice chair.
Present.
Judy Brennan, secretary.
Present.
Peter Ames, member.
Present.
Michael Bosky, member.
Here.
Chris Burns, member.
Present.
Selectman's rep, Stephen Weber.
Present.
And absent this evening with with notification is alternate Jeff Town. So we'll start off with consideration of previous meeting minutes. We have one to review, December 27th, 2022. Anybody have any changes, modifications, edits they wish to make?
When were those sent? I did not catch those.
Did you not send?
I think they were sent the day after.
The day after, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got them.
You want a minute to look, or we could table them until next time?
It was sent out on the 27th, it looks like.
Yeah, they were like right after.
We were probably still in the meeting room when he sent them.
But the document looks like it's from the 13th. Unless I'm not.
Yeah, the document says the 13th, that's right. Email.
Oh, you're right.
It says approved, yeah.
So the document date is incorrect?
I think the document's incorrect. I think it's the one, I think those are the minutes from the 13th.
Oh, they were
Previous
approved
meeting, yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. You're right.
All right, so we'll table these until next time, and I'll speak with Matt. All right, public input. You're on the agenda. Public input is people not on the agenda. We have Mr. Ryan Lane. Ryan, why don't you come sit with us?
Hey, Ryan.
How are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Ryan Lane, 344 Charles Bancroft.
Just here speaking on behalf of Natticook. Met with Kentucky Artesian Well today at Dara. Did our primary walkthrough. I showed them the area that we had discussed, Steve.
Yep.
And he's pretty much he's waiting on us now. The biggest challenge he sees is with that rig. If you can envision like a ladder truck from a fire department, when they go up, that thing takes a pretty big swing going up. So his rigging needs 35 feet minimum of clearance. Where we want to put the well, there's 3 cables from the ropes course
Okay.
that he would like to see us get dropped before they come in.
The actual ropes, though, right? Not the cable?
They're
or-
steel cable.
Mhm.
Yep. We can get away with dropping 2 of them. Doesn't need to be all 3, but I don't know what the rec's intentions are or the school board's intentions are with that whole thing.
That is actually on one of our future agendas to figure out what's going on. I don't know if those cables are easily dropped and put back up. I think they've been up there for so long, I don't know if it's possible. I've never been on them, so I don't know, but I don't know if it's possible to drop them. Did he give you a time of when he'd like to try to get in there?
They they operate out of Henniker, right in the shadow of Pat's Peak, and they pretty much hit a dead spot in their season in March. With the melt and everything, it's just everything's so muddy up in central New Hampshire. It's tough for them to work. So they were hoping to get down here anytime in March and get going. And then by that time, they'll be able to do everything all at once. Versus if they were to come now, they would drill now, but then they would have to come back in the spring for us to do the site work for plumbing the water line and the electrical. So this way, it's just kind of one and done.
What do you think, towards the end of March?
Yeah.
Depending on if we have snow this year.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, we could get slammed in March, or we could be cutting grass. You don't know.
So, understanding that you want to put it somewhere near the ropes course, is there an exact location for it that you can describe?
It's essentially behind the snack shack, behind the playground, pretty much right in line with the existing line that runs from down by the pond up to the field.
So it's going to be off kind of in the woods, not
Yeah.
on the fields themselves?
No.
Okay.
No, it'll be in that, there's kind of like a wide open area that's just covered with pine litter.
Mhm.
Behind the pavilion, in that general area.
So he'll be able to get his truck in there, but when he starts standing it up, that's when the ropes course and whatever else
Yeah,
will get in the way.
yeah. And
Is
then-
that where an existing pump is, or what makes that the preferred location?
It's close to the shed. There's power there already, so that simplifies the installation. It's kind of tucked away where people, there's not going to be a lot of foot traffic where people could bump into it or trip over it and things like that. I don't know. When I walked the site with Steve, it's kind of where you wanted it.
Yeah, anywhere between there, where the existing one is, and the shed. I assume it's just gonna be a typical wellhead sticking up.
Yeah.
So we really don't want it, unless we could put a shed or something on top of it, we don't want it,
I saw the location as well. It's a good spot.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
That's it.
Now it's just the ropes course.
Coach K actually built it, so he might be the one to talk to, because he'll know how easy or what it'll take to take it down. I'm assuming he would be the one, if he built it, to,
Yeah, he's in Florida till spring.
I mean, we can manage to get it down one way or another, but I
Getting it back up.
cut the tree down that it's tied to. It's getting it back up. Yeah, and I mean, they really shouldn't be using it unless somebody was up there checking it out anyway.
It was
to
recently
get
inspected.
inspected. But
yeah.
we'll want to
Yeah,
make
do
sure
yearly.
that they're not scheduling anything for when that well digging is going on. Anyway, right?
So the situation with the ropes course is the school won't pay for it anymore. So it falls back under us. Right now, it's covered, inspected, and insured till July. So we're not meeting with the gentleman running it, Ryan, and probably Coach K when he gets back until later in the season to figure out what we're going to do moving forward.
Yep.
So I'd hate to pull it apart and then come up with a deal where we need to reassemble it, and I don't know how easy it is to reassemble it. Before Coach K left, he was up there in November, basically with a small hatchet cutting out the turnbuckles that had overgrowth. That's what failed the inspection. So right now, they can use it, it's
Okay.
covered, it's legal, it's inspected.
We can push on our end to the end of the season. I mean, contractually, we have till December 31st.
Right.
We just don't want to get that far.
We need to figure out what's going on with that ropes course.
Can we just
It-
send
like-
them an email? It might be, there may be a simple release up there. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows? Like,
Yeah, we
it's-
could-
Yeah.
I mean, Coach K's been up there. He's been up there recently, so he should be able, even from where he is, say, oh yeah, there's this,
We have
and
this
this.
going
If he was hacking out turnbuckles, I mean,
Yeah, or we
gotta be a
can
way
call
to
the
release
guy
it.
that runs it all the time and say, hey, you need to take care of this.
Yeah.
You need to put a well in.
Before March.
Doesn't seem like
I don't know what
Yeah.
it took to get it up there. I don't know what it'll take to get it down and put it back up again.
yeah.
I mean, I'm flexible. I'm willing to do whatever works for the greater good, but at the same time, we'd like to get it done as just a show of good faith. And also, if we're going to be sitting down again in August and discussing the coming year, I'd rather have it done versus, we'll do it in November.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather
You
get
want
it
to
done.
get it done before softball season starts. I
Yeah.
think that would be more ideal anyway, because you're going to have kids coming and going, and nicer
Yeah.
weather's,
Yeah.
the nicer the weather gets, the more people are going to be out there, so.
early March, we
March
really haven't
seems like a
started
good
yet, so.
idea.
Yeah.
Early March, beginning of April.
So, I mean, as of right now, it's the school's responsibility to figure out how to get those lines down. We're up. There hasn't been an official transfer to us, so I say we let them know and
Yeah, I'll send in,
down.
Okay, I mean, honestly, I really think we could contact Coach K and Ryan.
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Because if we leave this up to the school,
Right,
Who knows
but
what the timeline's
they're
gonna
under the
be.
school, so when I'm including them when they're part of the school.
I'll send an email to Coach K and Ryan and ask them if they can give us some input, let them know the scenario, what we need to do, and
And we're only talking, it's one of the obstacle things,
Yeah.
not the entire course. It's just that general area.
so how would he go in? Would he go kind of like behind the playground?
Come in the main entrance.
Yeah,
Once the paved road ends,
Yeah.
kind of veer off to the left through the pine trees, almost like he's driving towards the snack shack,
okay,
and then
back in.
and then they would just kind of go in between the snack shack and the playground. It's tight, but it's doable.
Okay.
And there's there's so many pine tree roots there that we're not too worried about, soft ground or anything like that. So,
A couple more trees come down, it'll be even easier for him.
Yeah, We had
Could
one
happen.
fall the other
We had
day.
one fall the
Couple
other
more
day.
windstorms.
And the
And
bush camera, right,
Go to
Chris?
mark a couple, Kevin will have fun dropping them.
that's fine.
Nope, that's good.
He's running out of stuff to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's no snow yet, right?
No.
All right, we'll definitely, I'll follow up with that. Also, you sent us the soil samples today, which was great. What I don't know is like when you, it's kind of like going to your doctor until he looks at your chart and tells you what do
Yeah.
these numbers
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
and he calls you fat. and
Means
says
you
you need to
die.
lower your cholesterol.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah, we're not
also
giving you
be in
6
this
months to
range.
live right now. No.
Talking about your liver enzymes.
Yeah.
No, we're in good shape. I mean, just 35,000 feet looking down, we're in good shape. They're right where I thought they'd be after we left them.
Okay.
So we accounted for that in our bid, and
Not as bad as a few years ago.
no.
Much more manageable.
Yeah, we're just making minor corrections. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So while you're here, there is one thing that we were hoping to use, and that's, we put on the CIP and the ARPA, on the CIP plan, we wanted to put a well in, and it was approved by, the CIP. It went in front of the budget. They really don't have too much input on it. Went in front of the Board of Selectmen, and unfortunately it was declined because that money's gonna be allocated for the fire truck and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna have funds for multiple attempts.
Sure.
So hopefully it's one and done and we hit it the first time. If not, we'll have to try to, figure out a way where if we can come up with more money to hit it again. I was hoping to use the funds, so if we did get it, or if we didn't, we could try again and then make, any improvements of the lines to the main field. And
Yeah.
Add
It's a
more into
start.
facilities at deliberative.
I don't know how much I don't think they'll be I'm gonna be asking for a lot as it is. to go
Ask for
back.
3 times what you need.
Yeah. Always aim high, Steve. Always aim
Yeah,
high.
yeah. But at least it's a start in the right direction.
Yeah.
You just
know.
need like-minded people there.
Maybe we'll get lucky. You know? And we
Did at Jeff
anticipate
Lane,
that.
we did well out there.
Yeah, we did okay. Again, like I just said, it's a step in the right direction. If it comes even remotely close to what we were hoping for gallons per minute, I mean, anything's going to be better than what we got.
Yep, I agree.
And it's going to be clean water. It's not going to be full of iron and sediment, which is a huge problem out there. I mean, you clean those heads and 3 months later they're underperforming again. It's going to be. It should help. Should help.
All right.
But we'll just reassess once we get going. So,
All right.
okay,
Anything else you want to discuss with us before?
that's it.
That's it. Well, appreciate you coming before us, Brian.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. So
Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, Ryan. Take care.
we'll close public input at 7:12. All right, moving on. Facility and field requests. Come on up and have a seat.
That's me.
If you could state your name, I know you're coming from the Cub Scout Pack 11.
Yeah, Jeff McLean, 18 Blue Jay Way, representing Pack 11. Yeah, I'm the Scoutmaster over there. So what we're looking to do is kind of like we did a year or two ago, I forget when it was, is the kids can build model rockets. We just need a place to shoot them that's got a lot of, open space. And we've done sawmill before, and it worked pretty well, so we're hoping we could do it again.
Okay. When did you do it last year? Do you remember? Was it around this time or was it in the fall?
I couldn't even tell you. I
think it was
feel like
fall.
it was the spring. Might have been fall. I don't know.
So you're looking to do this on Wednesday, May 17th?
Yeah, 17. I was going to ask for 24 as a rain date, just in case, because that's actually, we got rained out last year. It was kind of a problem. Or last time.
What is it? Oh, Wednesday, 6 to 8:30. Our fields are so heavily used now, it's tough. What's going on in May? That's soccer's full bore, right?
Soccer and lacrosse are full bore.
Till what time? Definitely between 6 and 8:30?
Usually it's 5 to 8. I mean, it's just busy. It's busy there all the time, so.
Right.
I mean, again, Fridays is probably the least busy, but no one likes doing Fridays.
What's the thought of the board? Can we ask soccer to one of the things we talked about, and this, Mike brought this up last time, is we're trying to restrict our time window when people come before us. We don't want to make it a truly first come, first serve. This is, more than 90 days out. We're trying to now make it where we don't look at these requests until a 90-day window before. And then we don't want them to run 6 months past kind of scenario. You're not in this scenario.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like if you have a
I just
league.
mean you fill your calendar up with stuff and it never happens. Or
Pack it in there.
I mean, is it Wednesdays? Is it have to be on a Wednesday? Is that the work?
Wednesday's just when we do our usual pack meeting.
Right.
So we keep it that way because people typically have it free.
Have it
But I mean, if
blocked
we got to
off.
wiggle in one way or the other, that's.
I mean, let's put it this way: Fridays is usually least practice wise. Saturdays and Sundays, Sundays lacrosse in the morning. Soccer can be. I can talk to them and say, can you make sure that all the games are over on this day by this time, on a Saturday or a Sunday, and try. I'm just trying to think of what days it's least busy. During the week, you have, 2 programs with, lacrosse will be 4 or 5 teams. Soccer will have, 11 or 12 rotating through there at some point. So it becomes crazier Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
Can we ask? Yeah, sure. It's always, we could ask. It's if you want that big of a time frame. If you said 7 and 8:30 or 7 to 9, then I'd say we could kick them off for an hour. Might not be that bad. But if you want that full time frame, it might
either
be
way, we're
easier
going to be
to-
earlier because it's younger kids.
Yeah.
They're elementary.
Okay. Either way, it's. I'm just trying to think of the least amount of conflicts.
Yep.
But whatever works. Again, it's sawmill. It's open to everyone, so everyone should have the ability to use it. The question is, what way can you best maximize limiting the conflicts?
It's just one night. Though.
It's one night.
That's my
That's what
thing.
we do
It's
that at
one
Talent
night.
all the time, right? We
Yeah,
ask the
I
group
mean,
to say,
just
hey,
say,
one
hey,
night, give it up for this.
We're gonna give it up one night for scouts to let up some fire.
It's whatever we want to do.
Because basketball gives up, one night a month now for scouts inside
Yeah.
Talent, so it's same thing.
Yeah, I think we're going to turn that night back. That's a separate issue. But we can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want to trade jet that one night for
Make
a
it
day in the future?
Make it deal.
I think in the spirit of keeping it multi-use, as a one-off, I think we should try to accommodate that.
Okay. All right, so with that,
Just one thing I noticed on the request, it said beginning 5/17/223, and then your ending date is 1/17.
Oh, typo.
So, yeah,
Yeah,
just a
it's about
typo, just so you know that's there. I don't know if he has to redo that. I noticed when I was doing the agenda, or if
We'll
that
put the
can,
formal
that can just,
on the
okay.
vote.
Yeah, so then it doesn't have to, I didn't send it back because I
Yeah.
wasn't sure that had to be all redone
Yep.
for that. I figured it was a typo.
I used the date picker. I must have just clicked in
Yeah.
January at some point.
so the problem would be is we're going to ask him to accommodate you on the 17th, and then we're going to have to ask him again if it rains on the 24th.
Or we can just be at a loss if it rains. That's fine too. We can gamble.
Gamble? You're a gambling man?
Are any of the other fields that we have big enough, or do you need that? Because Sawmill is the biggest, but I'm just trying to think
they can depending on the wind because they do go
Yeah.
up a couple hundred feet. They
Yeah.
can drift.
Those Estes
so-
go.
I was just
I
wondering.
mean,
if Jeff
I
big
mean,
enough.
See,
I
what I was
honestly think
thinking-
I honestly think Sawmill's the one you want to use.
I would think so.
In this
Yeah,
case,
with
like,
Jeff,
I don't
I'd
think
worry
there's-
about him
I really
running
don't
across.
think there's any
Yeah.
alternative. It's just so much bigger than
It is.
Roy.
And the
Well,
fun
if
is chasing after them and catching them when they come down. And I don't want them like running across Jeff Lane and into the parking lot to try and catch something when it comes down.
If it was earlier in the season, I would have said park over at River Access and use the piece of land that we rent to McQuestions, the town rents. 'Cause that's 6 acres, that's wide open right there.
Yeah.
That'd be a great spot, but in May, I know that they'll already have it planted.
Steve, how big is your backyard?
There's a pool.
Chickens and a dog.
Go to the airport and do it.
I don't think I'd have a problem with that. Plenty of open spaces, right?
Lots of
I know. Sucked into a turbine.
Right in the middle.
What if we we reserve it for the 17th. If it ends up being a rain date, then we look at some other,
Yeah, maybe we
Dates.
should
Yeah, we'll
move it to like an
reconvene.
open Friday if you got something.
Yeah.
Friday or
we'll-
Sunday,
we
or
can gamble.
yeah.
All right, so I will make a motion to approve the Cub Scouts Pack 11 via Cub Master Jeff McLean to use Sawmill Brook Park on Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, from 6 to 8:30 p.m. for rocket launching. And this is a one-day event.
I'll second.
Any discussion, other discussion? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nays. Motion carries 7-0-0.
Thanks. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks. I hope it doesn't rain.
Take care.
I know, it did last year.
I
We
kinda
hung
wanna
out
go
until
watch
after
it.
stopped.
Yeah,
Yeah, come down. It's a good time. It really is fun because to see what the kids come up with. Like
Yeah.
if you're not careful when the glue and the fins on, they can spin off and do crazy things. So it's a fun event.
take themselves right to the dump.
What's that? Yeah, exactly. Throw themselves in it.
All right,
Appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you around.
Next request is Lions Club, Talent Hall,
So-
Thursday.
She didn't do an official written request.
Yeah.
They just wanted to go in, have a time where they can go and plug everything in and make sure it's gonna work for their movie night. Because their movie afternoon is Sunday, so they wanted some time. So I listed 2 times there that checking with people would be open on the Thursday and Friday before their movie showing. that they
I'm
could
not
get
100% sure on that Friday.
on that Friday. Okay.
I'm positive on the Thursday.
Positive on Thursday that they could go in there. And that gives them, if they're like, oh, we need a longer extension cord or whatever, a day or 2 to go out and get it.
Yeah.
Fridays are
So-
usually till like 8:30, right?
And honestly, if basketball's in there, I think we could work around them.
Yeah, we had thought Friday at 8 that it might work, or we know that Thursday, the 26th at 7:30 will work.
Yeah.
Judy, you can let them know there's 2 extension cords already in there if they need a longer extension cord.
Okay. But I think it's smart to do that and figure
Give a
out
test
any
run.
bugs ahead of time. But she had just sent an email asking if there was, a blank time that,
So they're not gonna set it up and leave it there, right?
No,
Okay,
nope.
just set it up,
set
test
it up
make
and
sure-
test it.
It's at 220 outlet then you.
220, 224, whatever it takes.
But like, they couldn't go in there while pickleball has like the courts out and they're playing. Do you know what I mean? It's just stuff in the way they want to be able
Where
to.
they're gonna set the screen up on the stage, right, I assume?
Yeah, I think so. But it's kind of just a trial run through. So,
I don't have an issue with it if no one else does.
and they were meeting tonight, so I did let her know, what was available.
Should give each one of them a wet rag to clean the area around them. We get the whole floor clean that way.
That's the exception.
And then she was asking how they would get in, and I said closer to the date, you usually send out a code, right, to whoever's using.
Yeah,
Talent
yeah.
and all that, that you would do
I'll
that.
give you the code and actually, somebody will be in there still, huh? We'll still need to lock it up. Yeah, I'll give you the door code and the combination code, and then all they'll probably have to do is lock up when they're done, because if basketball's in there, they'll be,
It'll already be open.
if they could do it after 7:30 on Thursday, that's when you guys are in there till, right, about 7:30?
That's when my daughter's basketball is in there. They get out at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
We're in there earlier.
You're in there before, okay.
Before, and then it's basketball 6 to 7:30, and I know nobody comes in after them. It's Thursday nights at 7:30.
7:30.
Who updates the talent schedule? Because when I was looking at it, the pickleball nights need to be.
We could all do it. I've been doing it, but all of us have the access to do it, and it's really quite easy to do.
Should we just have one person in charge of it? Would that make it easier? Or
As long as it's not
then
me.
we don't know who's. I'm saying the same thing because. No, I'm not volunteering for it.
That's
but
what I heard too.
if
I know
we
there's
had-
one person who's
All
not
those
here.
in
We can
favor?
volunteer.
If we had one person doing it, then we'd all know when something comes through that it got done.
Then you could blame somebody if.
But
wasn't
no, I'm not
put in
saying
the
I
mindset.
want to do it. I got enough on my plate right
See,
now.
I've been blaming Steve when stuff isn't in there because he's been doing.
So I don't know if somebody just wants to take care of.
I've been
updating
trying to
that
do
one.
it after the meetings at night, but honestly, it's just a Google Calendar. If you go into Log on with your rec account to Google, and you'll go to the calendars, and
Yeah, I
you
put
just-
a bunch of stuff in
Yeah,
there
you
too.
just update it, and it
So are
automatically-
you volunteering to do it?
I think we have a good system.
Okay. Okay, whoever's working that system, it has to be updated for the dates that were added for pickleball at night.
System,
That's
you're
all.
doing a great
Basically,
job.
if I realize, whoever realizes something needs to be put into the calendar should add it to the calendar.
Oh, great. I'm not looking at the calendar anymore.
I didn't realize.
I had no idea.
So with the pickleball thing, we're not putting, I saw their schedule. We're going to do a blank schedule, 5:30 to 8 pickleball.
Right,
We're not
right.
doing,
Right.
you know,
Right.
Yeah, I think you just
But
put
what I'm saying
recurring
is
in there
that
and just let it go out.
So when I was trying to find a spot for her, I had to, for Lions Club, I had to kind of like jump back from the talent house schedule to what was approved, type of thing, because the pickleball hadn't been put in there yet. and I
pickleball is the
wasn't
only one
sure.
that's not in there at this point, because we're still working out the details.
Oh, okay. So they're not in there at night or on
No.
weekends?
No, they have not been on the calendar at all.
Okay.
They are in there. They have.
I think that was the question.
Okay,
They are.
They've been approved, but they are not on the calendar.
They're not on the
Correct.
calendar.
okay, oh, all right. I thought you were saying they weren't supposed
So
to be in
do you
there.
know off the top of the head when they are in there? Because I know they
I
just
have
do
to
a-
go back to their site, Litchfield Pickleball Association, and go to their sign-up Genius to try to, because everybody has to sign up through that, so we'd have to go through that and see what they're.
Oh no!
But
Just
did
put
they-
blocks. They have blocks.
Monday through Friday, they
Right.
have it from
What they did,
sun up till,
sundown.
no, there's some nights that were added, I think,
That's
that
on the
weren't there
weekend.
on the weekends.
That's on the weekends. Yeah.
Because
Right, so
weekends,
that's
yeah.
why I couldn't
3 to
say,
8
oh,
and then
come
4
in
to 8.
Tuesday
Saturday
at
and
3
Sunday were added.
and
Yeah.
do your
Hence,
setup.
hence the
'cause I
reason
knew
why
pickleball
the
was.
calendar does not show pickleball. If you can go get me some dates, just, Monday through Friday, whatever they're at, 7, or I don't even
think-
care if they're in there at 5.
I think it's more the weekend.
Yeah, the
I
weekend.
think their sign-up Genius shows like at 2:30 to 8:30 or
So Sundays, we're out of there, 3:30? So I think they're 4 to whatever on Sundays.
They requested
4 to 8.
Saturdays 2:30 to 8:30 and Sundays 4:30 to 8:30.
So on their schedule, on their sign-up Genius, Judy, they say Saturdays 2:30 to 4:30.
But then there's another group that comes in 4:30 to 6:30 and
Yeah,
another
yeah,
group 6,
I'm
so
going-
it's 2:30 to 8:30.
Going down the list.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's the advanced 2:30 to 4:30, competitive 4:30 to 6:30, recreational 6:30 to 8:30. And then on Sundays,
So that'll just be 2:30 to 8:30.
Right.
Sundays is 4:30 to 8:30.
All right, and then does it say what they are Monday through Friday in the mornings?
Yes.
So
6 to what? 6 to 4?
Well, I think it
Well,
starts
7
7.
It's 7 to
Seven.
8, 7 to
3
3.
a.m. to 3 p.m.
3 p.m., okay.
3, Monday through Friday.
Right.
That's Monday, well, today's Tuesday, yeah. Wednesday, Thursday.
It makes sense because we have nothing competing with it during the day.
Except for,
That's what we approved them at the last meeting for.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I wasn't here, so I wasn't sure.
okay.
But when I looked at Talent Hall to see when Lions Club could get in there, that's what I was saying. I knew pickleball had something approved over the weekend, for weekends, but I didn't know what time. And Lions
I'll-
Club couldn't go in there and
I'll
set
put,
up when they were
pickleball in
so
there,
that's
the date and times Chris just said. And how long did they ask for? Did Infinity?
6:20,
why.
6:21.
Till they can get outside.
6:21?
6:21.
June.
Very good,
yeah.
Mike. Maybe I should show Mike how to do the calendar.
He's
I
got
don't,
it
even
in
know how
his
to,
head.
I don't even know how to log into my Google.
Hey, Google, log me in.
All right. I'll update the calendar tonight.
The system's going to work again.
Or can someone just have it up when we're
System
at our
back
meetings
up
and
and
add it on right then and there when we approve something? Is it easy enough to do?
What, the calendar?
That somebody can have it up on the laptop and do it right while we approve something?
Got
Is
3
there-
laptops.
I see
Two,
3 people.
3.
It is easy to do.
Battery just died.
All right, moving on. New business. Basically, it's just reimbursement requests from Spirit of Litchfield. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 for a total of $492.23. They have their own line item in the rec revolving, and after these expenses, they'll have about 2,500 left, so they're actually in good shape. So I will make a motion to approve the reimbursements from the rec revolving account for Spirit of Litchfield in the amount of $492.23.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 700. Spring sports field requests, approximate dates and times, Judy, in by February.
I was wondering if the spring sports, in-season sports under the rec, if we could give them a date to get in a rough estimate of the schedule they need. I know that all their registration will be done, but maybe based on last year, add a little more, add a couple hours for rain date practice or game makeup. So then we have that at the end of February, knowing what we're going to need through the summer or late spring till it ends. So when we get these one-day requests, we know what's likely to be available. I mean, I don't want them to do 7 days a week, sun up to sundown. But based on last year, they should be able to kind of estimate, if not sure, add a little more time. And then once they have the registration, know the number of teams in their slots, say these are the actual times. But then we at least have a block to work with, so they don't have to do the detailed work till later, but then we have it by March, and if anybody's requesting Dara for
Yeah, I think Dara's the
other
most
events.
important one over Jeff and Corning. I mean,
I just think it would be, and I don't mind reaching out to all of them and saying, can you have your anticipated request dates in by?
Oh, you can get them in. Like, the thing is we're the ones who keep switching this. We tell them to come in with a more detailed schedule and to hold off on submitting a schedule. Now we're going backwards to what it was before, where give us a general schedule and we'll figure it out later. So I think we just have to figure out a direction we want to give them.
yeah. I mean, baseball's easy. 5 o'clock till 8 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Saturdays, basically, you just say 7 a.m. till 4 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's literally all.
And that's
the
pretty
same-
much how it is on the
Honestly,
field.
that's the same thing. Like, that's realistically the same thing. Where if you're coming up with a general schedule, lacrosse is going to give it to you, soccer is going to give it to you the same way. It's softball, I'm sure, would give it the same way. Like, yeah, we need it here, here,
See,
here.
I would err on more of having. We already know the general schedules because they're the same every year.
Right.
We already know the same. So I would say as soon as the leagues have their final schedules approved, and I know soccer works with the state, so it takes a long time to actually get everything through. Baseball takes a while to get everything through.
The biggest thing is because we're with neighboring towns, so building
Right.
the joint schedule is the biggest thing for
Everything.
us.
You mean realistically, if you want a real schedule of what's happening, you're not seeing them, and for most of the sports, until the beginning of April.
Yep.
Even lacrosse.
Definitely.
Lacrosse is usually the first one that starts because it usually starts that first or second weekend of April. And lately, it used to be they'd have it out mid-March at the latest. Now, last 2 years, I think it's been the end of March. They've been delaying even longer. So now you got all the sports basically no one knows what their game schedule is like until the beginning of April at the earliest at this rate. Yeah. But again, with the practices, if we want, I don't have a problem saying
It just seems
submit a
easier to
schedule,
get them.
but you're going to get the
them
whole.
in all at once, and then if you're it can just be, they don't have to submit this line item hour by hour, but if
Yeah,
they're
more
okay,
blocks.
we're not gonna use Friday nights from 4 to 6, then we know it's open. If somebody comes in and says, I wanna do the dog show, or what do you
But
have?
they're not gonna have that until they set the schedule, so.
Well, that's what I'm saying, we can keep doing these at every single meeting if we want to, or we can
Well, no,
try
it's
to make it easier on ourselves, is what I'm saying.
Well, luckily we have pretty much direct connections to every league.
Yeah.
Pretty well represented here, except for lacrosse. But I know some people in there, or Steve, or whoever. Somebody knows somebody in almost every league. So I think it's not ideal that we don't just have a centralized schedule for everything. That'd be awesome if we did. But just the coordination of all that stuff, it becomes a daunting task because I know for on my end, I'm constantly changing the schedule as like stuff comes up. Or,
Yeah,
like,
there's rain
a
out.
coach can't make it. There's a rain out. Like,
But out of the gate, I mean, will Google take in an iCal?
Yeah. I believe so.
I mean, again, it's
Easy enough to, once we set it, just push out the
Yeah, we
iCal
can link
and
ours
import
right
it back
to
in.
usually what it ends up being is, again, as you said, it's Monday through Friday, 5 to 8. Like, Monday through Friday, 5 to 8 for practice. That's when all the teams are going. I mean, there may be a slot in there that's not used, but and maybe Friday nights. Maybe you get the thing of no one's on there on Friday nights after 6, and you can block that off as like an exception. But like most of the fields, it's Monday with the kids, 5 to 5 or 4:30 to 8 is going to be used. Saturday and Sundays, it's going to be up to the leagues in terms of here's the game schedule. Good luck as to whether something switches or when is it. Some days some weeks you have 4 games, some weeks you have 1 or 0. I mean, and they're all, but I think it's a constant across all the leagues. It's not just one league. We all
think,
face these things when we schedule.
So then,
The best way to handle
when do the schools usually submit their requests, like to use the softball field, JV softball from the high school?
Really
or
don't.
LMS? They
really-
should. They
They
used
should, but they really don't. And when they want to go past the 3 o'clock to 5, one of the coaches would usually reach out to myself and say, hey, you guys can be in the cages, what field's open, and they'll do that. And they have been kind enough to stay behind and help the girls out.
So
and
do you
stuff,
think? Shouldn't they?
They should. They really. Even the high school should be.
Should
The
tell
middle
them.
school will. The middle school we've kind of
They've
trained
been very
to do
good
it.
about.
Well, the high school used to do it.
So
I know that for a
The middle
fact.
school now for softball, they use GMS.
But they use DARA for soccer.
Soccer, correct.
Sorry. I'm wondering.
I
so
just-
That's later in the season.
I'm wondering. What's
I
gonna-
haven't seen a single thing since I've been on the board, a request come through from
Campbell.
any of the schools.
We definitely have
No, we
LMS.
have LMS.
We got LMS for
Okay.
soccer,
Yeah,
I
we
do.
do.
Oh, yes,
We did
I
have
remember that,
LMS
yeah.
for soccer.
Yeah.
And
So I
basketball
just think,
from G.
And we need to
regardless
talk to
who's
them this year
using
about
it,
cleaning it.
unless you're just there for general recreation, kicking a ball around with friends or something,
mean,
we should know who's.
I will be interested to know because the middle school's doing lacrosse this year. I don't know where they're going to play, and I haven't heard anything about if they're going to try to where they're going to try to play
They have a
So-
lacrosse field at the high school, don't they?
at the high school. Yeah,
To like the. Oh, you're saying the middle school is.
Yeah, middle school added a team.
Got it.
But they need to figure out where they're going to play before they put a team together, because like basketball JV, they put a team together before they had a place to play. But I think we should know, whoever's using our fields, whether it's school or not, the school wouldn't allow rec soccer to go over and use their field without completing the form, so they
Is-
know who's on their field.
Sawmill pretty much tapped out for availability in the springtime at this point. I mean,
at night. Yeah,
yeah.
From right after
But that
school
3 after
till-
in the
after
afternoon.
school. Yeah, but you mean again, LMS has always had this issue busing kids to Sawmill, and that's what you're talking about. Like, so what is their what's their thought process? I have no idea.
Right, because there's no soccer field down there. There's only a baseball and softball field.
Right.
That's a GMS.
So they bust them if they go to Sawmill?
So, they don't, so practice, so for soccer practices,
Yeah.
they've always bussed to Dara. What happens is the late bus that goes to the high school to pick up at like 2:45 ends up dropping off and then coming back to LMS, picking up the team, dropping them off at Dara on their way to the high school. And it's because it's on the route, they don't have to pay extra for it. However, there is an issue where in the past where they've talked about, well, should we try playing at Sawmill? Should we request Sawmill instead of Dara? The problem becomes to bus them to Sawmill would cost extra money.
And they can't walk because there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of a
Kinda
far
far
walk.
there.
To
It's
LMS
far,
to
but
Sawmill.
I think there is now.
We used to
because
walk
aren't
to-
they
we used to
putting
walk to
in-
Brickyard.
I thought they put in sidewalks there and then you could connect to the bike path, but it's a long walk. But I think
Oh, yeah,
they
I
can
mean,
do it
Something
by
like manure.
sidewalk.
Practice be over at that point.
Mine was always uphill.
No,
Is it uphill?
6 miles
No?
both ways.
no, I know. Well, I mean, middle school softball, the girls would walk down through the woods and coaches would take all the bags
Yeah.
and drive them down.
So Judy, for this.
So anyway,
like
if you guys
point-
don't think it's a good idea to set a certain date to get everybody's,
Well, I think what you're looking to do here is get the general times now, so that gives us a better ability
well, the end
to
of
approve
February,
things
beginning of March, like have a date, so then when somebody,
before the schedule's out, yeah.
Yeah,
But that would give
so
us better
that,
flexibility to.
then people who go to the schedule and look and want to book something say, well, it's not on there, and, do you know what I'm saying?
I'm good. I think it's good to put blocks of time down.
Yeah, it's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't
Not
have.
asking for
Placeholders,
anything.
right? Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
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 And I know we have, you guys are all affiliated with the sport, and we can just let high school know if you want our fields. They may not have they'll have, but by March, mid-March, they'll have their spring schedules out. They
They
come out
should.
pretty early,
Yeah.
games, but at least,
And I know down for softball, I know they're finished just about 5. So we usually get there,
Yeah.
they're just finishing up. And there's plenty of room down there. I mean, if there's a team on
right.
the 12U field, there's
Right.
plenty of room elsewhere.
I don't know, I just think it might, if we had, the grouping, whatever sport is taking up the most amount of usage of the fields or whatever during that time, if we just at least have a block in there that when somebody's looking at it to plan, I don't know, healthy kids running or whatever, they have an idea that softball's gonna be in there during that block, or,
It gets us closer that we keep talking about having a calendar across all fields.
No, just need someone to maintain it.
We have a system.
You have a system.
Yeah, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, the system.
Is that my new name? The system?
The system.
anyway, it was just a thought, I'm just trying to make things easy, a little easier maybe for us or for people who are looking for an available date for something, groups.
Yeah,
that they
reach
wanna
out
do
to them.
something.
The sooner they get us the dates, the better. We're trying to stay within a range where, we don't want them to throw a blanket on everything and then come
No.
back and say, well, now we're gonna cover it up. We're not
But
gonna,
if,
because
We
that's
reached
not
out to
helpful
the
either.
AD at the high school and said, what is your anticipated use for JV softball on the Litchfield Town field? Then we know and block it off, and I'm not asking them for every single game, but then it also helps, like I said, other groups that are looking to see what's open, and then they only have to do one form if they already know something's going on that day, so let's move it to a Friday where Friday night might be.
All
a
right,
few
run with
people.
that. No, it's definitely good if they're watching,
I
if
can
they could
reach
stop
out.
providing us dates and times, at least dates that we could stop populating the calendar.
Dates and just like
A lot of them is
this
repeat.
time to this time, and I can touch base if you want with the high school to let us know what.
I'd rather,
They-
let's not chase the high school. If they want to use our fields, they should come to us.
But
Our
okay.
sports
Get the rep.
leagues are here. They come to us to let us know, and they know, and they
So if we
repeat.
see
We're
them
not
on
chasing
there
high
and
school.
we don't have a form, then we'll address it.
Say that again?
If we see them using the field,
No, we should send out
practice it,
we
and
should send out a
and-
blanket email to everyone who possibly could use the field.
Should we let rec field it first?
Well,
Yes.
that's a priority.
It's priority, so we should reach out to rec first, let everybody rec get in, and then reach out to the school and say, hey, look at the
And it doesn't,
calendar.
I'm not asking for it right now, like I put the
No.
end of February,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that, still, and then maybe reach out to the school after.
So it's soccer, lacrosse, baseball, softball.
Right.
Think there's anybody else?
Flag football? No, they're
They're August.
summer.
This summer.
Usually they start. Usually
Did you
it's
say soccer?
somewhere in
Say
June.
So do we have a rep from everybody here for all of those, or no?
Except for lacrosse.
Cross, we don't. Do you know who the person is?
Josh
Forhart.
Josh Forhart.
Is the field coordinator or
I can get a hold of Josh.
husband? I can text.
him.
See him a couple
Okay.
times a week.
So that way we have that, and then,
Hey, Macadoodle.
Mike used to do that, but now his kids are outgrown.
Yeah,
that.
I still talk to them, but
Yeah, that's
it's
it.
not quite as tight as it once was.
so
I'll
it's
see
not
Josh
that
Thursday,
difficult
so.
to do, and then I can ask, let you guys get it in and ask
Yeah.
Campbell to get in what their suspected need is by mid-March or something.
Yeah.
After, so we have the rec blocks, and typically, right, that's not gonna be an issue because softball practices don't start till
At
late.
night, they're in the afternoon.
I think the biggest issue for them is going to be how they want to figure out what fields they're all using together.
All right. Moving on, Rec Commission liaisons to LPA, kind of right up that field. Do you nominate Judy? I say Judy.
Well,
Second.
yeah, they wanted to just meet with us to talk about some pickleball things, and the thing is, bringing it into a meeting it just takes more time and it's not as productive. So I talked with Steve, like how to do that. Is there a subcommittee that goes through a whole process? But liaisons doesn't. He reminded me that, and I remembered I was a liaison for softball for years.
Liaison's the word.
to-
We don't want to say subcommittee because that
Right.
has
Right.
totally
So maybe
different
while the
meanings.
things are, pickleball's under construction or whatever, Chris and I can be the liaisons if they want to get together, ask some questions, and we'll take up our meeting time. If there's anything questionable or we feel the board needs to talk about, we can bring it to the board. But if it's like, oh, where are the soft nets going to be or this or that, we don't need them to come to a full board meeting.
Love that idea.
So we would just be liaisons. You want to be a liaison?
Nope.
I don't know, Chris,
Liaison.
I
I'm
didn't talk
already
to you,
liaising to
but
plenty of other places.
what do you think?
That's fine.
Okay.
We've already kind of been doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't see the need for them to always have to come to the full meeting.
Yeah, if you
and
could
take-
come back with what they
Right.
need, and then as things start progressing moving forward, we want them to come, just like the boards do, or at least they should be the ones submitting the paperwork and the requests.
Right.
We don't want them saying, well, you're our liaison, you do it.
No,
We
no,
want
no.
them to
They'll do it like
continue.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Like,
What do you mean? It's more to try to answer some of their,
basic questions
they have
about
to come here
the course
for.
that-
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, while we're building while the pickleball courts are being built, like, it's good to have a better avenue of communication,
Yeah.
so, like, all these little things that go back and forth don't have to go
Yeah, it's-
all the way up
Right.
and around, and,
like one thing they asked is like, well, what will we be responsible for? And I said, well, I think everything's going to be covered to start with, but you'll have to provide your own balls, like softball and baseball and soccer do, and you provide your own bases or whatever. So your own playing balls, but I think we'll have the money to do everything to get it up and running. But I'm assuming it's going to be run similar to our other
yeah.
leagues. Baseball lines their own fields and softball does and takes care of your infield mix and the bases and the balls, right? So for them,
Right.
they'll start off with everything
But,
lined.
with that same thing being said, is that baseball has priority, generally speaking, on the baseball fields.
Yeah.
Where, is
Pickleball
Pickleball
courts are
Association
straight
going
pickleball.
no, but is that going to be the LPA that is going to have priority? You know what I'm saying?
It's going to be our other property.
No, that's something we have to
Right.
discuss
Yes.
too. We
The
can't,
last
Like-
meeting we talked about the section of 4 would kind of be like theirs to
Schedule.
schedule, and then the other 2 would be the public courts
Public.
that they can't schedule, they can't block.
Right.
So public can go and use
yeah,
it.
we don't want them going in thinking that we have 6 courts, let's start booking.
Well,
out
I'm
6
just
courts.
saying, if it takes off in town, like it, and people just want to go out and play.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
And
what
there's only
we want to keep
one
some
court or
courts
2
open.
courts available, and it's all taken up.
And then if it gets to the point where people start playing and they join LPA and they start expanding and we see less use of in-town residents using the course because they're part of the LPA, we could adjust at that time.
Yeah.
But
Right.
what I don't want to do is say, here you go, Pickleball Association, here's 6 new courts, and then the townspeople can't play it all.
Right.
That
But the
Right.
struggle
That's
could
what
be
I
if
don't
there's enough people in town that almost equals them,
It could be the other way.
Yeah.
correct? Then we're really gonna have
Not
to look at
everybody
how many
wants to be
courts go
part of an
where. But out of the
association.
gate, I think they're the biggest consumer.
Yes.
Let them use 4, town uses 2,
Yeah.
and it's a struggle,
And
then
I
we
did
figure it out.
speak with, what's his gentleman's name? It escapes me at the moment. The president, and I asked him, he's supposed to send us the.
Ron. Yeah.
The ratio mix of in-town,
Oh, that's
out of
right,
town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, because we can't get to that point where there's more out-of-town people using the town pickleball courts, because that'll be a problem. So he said they're watching that, they're gonna manage that, and if they get to a tipping point, they'll stop taking applications from out-of-town people. So they're aware of it, and they will keep an eye on it, because we don't wanna turn the town courts into out-of-town courts, and that would be another.
Which could easily happen because very few
Oh,
towns
y-
have
yeah, and
straight
like-
pickleball courts.
Yeah,
They're
the
on
email we
tennis
got today.
courts and,
yes.
yeah. So, and as word gets out, their membership is going to
Skyrocket, yes.
jump higher, and if we're getting people from,
But I don't want
Town
people
fun.
in town to think they have to join.
right,
LPA
that's
in
why,
order to
that's
use
why.
these
Well, it's just like, we have the
Because it's not
hoop
there.
courts outside at Dara, and basketball will schedule camps or whatever, and reserve some time. But they're not using, it's not like just for them to
Right,
use.
yeah.
So kids can go over who just want to go and shoot hoop and everything. There's open times for it to be used, and I think,
Yeah, and even when the summer league is running, they only use one court at a time.
yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
but the difference is, the majority of the people playing are Litchfield
Yes.
youth.
Yeah.
You know, all these other sport leagues are 90%, 99% kids from Litchfield.
Yeah.
And that's,
Right.
you know, so that's not, so we're not gonna get an argument from townspeople saying, well, my kid wanted to play, you know.
Yeah.
he was- Okay, yep, so Chris and Judy, congratulations, you are now the liaisons to.
So somebody else has to take over scheduling.
We have a system.
We have a system.
Is
Okay.
there a name tag on me? All right, next one. 2022 Litchfield Rec report, I sent this out, sent it to Kim. Anybody has anything they want to change? I did get permission from a specific gentleman in town to put his name in there. He said it's okay, just let's not make it any more than it is. Anything else anybody wanted to add to that?
Will you write mine for me?
Just submit it to the system. It'll
Yeah.
come out.
See what the system can do for me.
Yeah, run it through the system, it'll be great.
That's good. Thank
Good.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay, old business. Pickleball courts.
If the fields are it's been pretty much cleared quite a bit.
It has.
Perfect.
They started on Friday and all the
There's
trees are
nothing
down
else to
and-
update, but they've been in there clearing away every day.
We met in front of the Conservation Commission to get approval, if you would, or I don't know if you want to call it, I don't even want to call it approval, where as the courts are being constructed, the tractor, the equipment may have to get into the
Buffer.
buffer zone. So they've been approved to go like 20 feet in or whatever it is, just so that they could lay out the courts and all that. The end result will be any area that is touched will be, of course, smooth. It'll always look better than it is. And hopefully at the end, it'll be just grass that we can just mow around the fences.
I
Oh,
have,
they leave everything super neat.
Yes.
People working down there, I noticed that everything's in neat piles and.
I have not sent anything out to the vendors yet for pricing on that. I was gonna use the map that Greg put together, send that out, and then also send the sketch that the Pickleball Association put together with the actual courts and dimensions laid out with the overlap and the fencing, and everything's all nice and neat right in there. I think that looks great. My question was, does this have to go through an RFP, or is this something I can just send out to the two vendors we've been working on?
What's the dollar value?
A lot.
No, it was, I'm trying to think back,
More than $5,000.
Is it more than
$10?
$13,000?
yes,
RFP.
it has to go through an RFP.
Has to go through an RFP unless the Board of Selectmen waives it.
Okay, all right,
You can direct solicit,
okay,
and we've been known to do that.
so
So you already have two, right?
I
So,
had two, yep, I've reached out to two,
so from the third one, that's,
yeah.
Or, go for the selectmen and say, can I direct solicit?
Well, there were some that we did try to get estimates and just never heard from, never got anything back to us, so we don't have room in our schedule.
Yeah, I feel like you guys did your due diligence already. We got a couple that are playing with us and seem responsive, so I'd kind of like to.
I think it's the way to do
continue.
it, because if you do an RFP, then you have to write up a whole scope of work. They have to bid per the scope of work.
Yep.
You know, almost like we do for field maintenance. You have to be very prescriptive.
Okay, so I should go to the next selectmen meeting and solicit that?
Sure.
Okay,
direct solicit.
all right, will do.
Anything else on pickleball courts?
I don't think so.
Alright, Tree at Roy Memorial Park Playground, got a message from a resident, along with a picture, one of the pine trees fell during that storm. Kevin went down, Kevin and crew, and removed it. There are a lot of trees down there that look like we may need to have removed next year. The place is also a mess with limbs and stuff. I was hoping we'd get a lot of snowfall to keep people off until we can get in there to clean it. But we definitely need to see what we can do next year about having some trees drop at Roy. Portable toilets, comfort stations at Roy Memorial Park. The last one was picked up from United. I spoke with a lady today for the new vendor. I don't remember what they're called right now. And the new one should be coming in tomorrow, and they're gonna drop it by the kiosk at the gate. thought process there is if the gate's closed and the truck driver, whoever doesn't know the combination, he'll still be able to get in, at least service it. Bins for first aid supplies.
So we approved for me to spend up to $500. I went through Litchfield Fire Department, since they know everything to order, and they did. But it came in very particular with every time you submit for reimbursement, they ask for the meeting minutes to show.
Yep.
So I thought it fell under that $500, but I just wanted to make sure with the group.
I don't see why not. It's a first aid supply,
Yeah,
right?
I think you
And
do.
Tammy,
Pin to
we
carry
spent
the first aid
$350,
supplies.
Right.
And now we need the containers to put it in.
Right.
Okay,
I mean-
so I will just refer her back to that meeting.
It's no difference than buying the stuff that go in it and buying the kit itself.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were just coming in cardboard boxes. That
No,
doesn't
but a lot of the containers that they do come in are not very durable, so I bought a sturdy 3-drawer one to keep at Talent with everything sorted, and then some smaller ones. We'll want to keep one at the pickleball courts in the lock bin that they'll have to store stuff, so we have something there. And if anybody else thinks there's other spots, we should put a small kit or have some of those ice packs or whatever, we can do that.
All right, yep, definitely.
All right,
what you're
so
gonna
that'll
do.
just fall under that, and it shouldn't be an issue.
AARP Livable Communities.
And I just want to go back and revisit that with the Board of Selectmen. Now that the pickleball thing is settled down, Christmas lights tour is done. I had gone to the Board of Selectmen, and then a lot of things hit the fan
Let's
with
get
them.
through
a lot of
deliberative, and then
things
we'll have a
to
lull.
have to deal with, so I kind of want to go in and do a little, refresh your memory of what it was all about, and see if we can move forward with that, so I can apply us for that, and hopefully we get it, and I think we
When,
will.
do you have a certain date you have to have the,
The application runs year-round. It's
Okay.
when they have grants,
Okay.
have to be applied for by, maybe February and you get notified in March or April in the program. Whatever you do has to be completed by November. So there's short-term, quick action grants, but as far as applying to be part of it, it runs year-round. So we don't really have
so.
a chance for grants this year. But we
I'd
can
wait
do that.
to go in front of the Board of Selectmen, as Steve said, until end of February because of, deliberatives, and they're gonna
Yeah.
be,
Okay.
their brains will be mushed. And that is all we have for,
Could we just circle back to the pickleball thing for
Of course.
a second?
Again?
For a second? Why not, right?
Yeah.
We're on a roll. Do you have a schedule or any expectation from the contractor as far as when the pad is going down?
no,
Okay.
not yet.
I know that in receiving some of the bids previously, just for our budget purposes, some of the contractors were talking about putting it, their pricing was contingent on them being able to put in footings for the permanent nets before the pad goes down. So if they have to cut up some of the asphalt that goes down to put their footings in, I'm assuming it's gonna cost a little extra, and I'm not sure what that patch is gonna look like once they put those in, so we'd probably wanna get those in before the finished surface goes down.
I will reach out to him and see if he has a date.
When's the next Board of Selectmen meeting
Is that
to get a
also-
waiver?
We had one this week, so what's today? Today's the 10th? 23rd.
It was a calendar day.
Last year's calendar.
You couldn't add a day, I mean, you know.
So I wonder if they're
I
putting
know
it
it's
down
tough.
before.
I wasn't
the-
dealing with
it. Like,
23rd will be our
So
next
on
meeting.
that, it's gonna be contingent on how quickly we can get pricing back.
Yeah, I mean,
Or the waiver.
I would say,
From the Board of
obviously, as from
Selectmen.
you could say, it's pretty aggressive.
if I get the approval to direct solicit on the 23rd, then when would our next meeting would be the 24th.
24th.
So I wouldn't have pricing back by then. So I would aim to have pricing back for a meeting on the 7th
February.
of February.
I don't know. Do you think he's planning on getting that down before then?
probably.
They're working, I think so too. They're working pretty quickly.
No snow and the ground's not really frozen.
Yeah.
But I think the paving plants are shut down until spring, aren't they? After a certain temperature.
Maybe I'll reach out to him and ask
Yeah, if, can you include me on that, just so I can
Yep,
be part of that conversation? I want to make sure the schedules all line up.
Yep.
He may do the base and everything and then
Maybe
not
that's what I'm thinking.
put all the
because,
crushed stone down and everything.
I mean, you don't,
That's
Sand.
kind of what I'm thinking, and then in the
you don't,
spring.
you don't
spring
want to put
pave it.
the asphalt down, you'll get frosties and everything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So, that's what I'm thinking, but.
yeah. All right, anything else? All right, now next meeting is January 24th. We do not have a non-public. You guys want to adjourn, or do you want to sit here all night?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All right, maybe I'll call a vote, I don't know. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I say no. I can't hear.
Can open public input again.
Carries- Public input. Motion carries 700.
What time's that?
Thank you, gentlemen.
Selectmen meeting, 7?